This video was made in collaboration with Narutopedia. For more information, check out the link in the description. Kakashi Hatake's abilities. Naruto. Kakashi Hatake is a shinobi of Konohagakure's Hatake clan. Famed as Kakashi of the Sharingan, he is one of Konoha's most talented ninja. Regularly looked to for advice and leadership, despite his personal dislike of responsibility. To his students on Team 7, Kakashi teaches the importance of teamwork, a lesson he received along with the Sharingan from his childhood friend Obito Uchiha. After the 4th Shinobi World War, Kakashi becomes Konoha's 6th Hokage. Welcome to the Imagi. In today's video, we're going over Kakashi Hatake's abilities. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell icon to be notified about our latest videos. One of the strongest ninja Konohagakure ever produced, Kakashi's feats earned him recognition on-site by various high-level ninja. A natural prodigy, Kakashi showcased highly advanced skill from a young age, evidenced by his rapid rise through the ninja ranks. His prowess is so impressive that it's said he could take on an entire country. The various S-rank members of Akatsuki acknowledge his might. He outmaneuvered Itachi Uchiha, albeit he couldn't use his Mangekyo Sharingan at the time, fought Kisame Hoshigaki and Kakuzu, respectively, to a standstill, and deemed a major threat by Pain. Kakashi is valued highly for his combat prowess and leadership skills, to the point that many foresaw his rise to Hokage status years before it happened. However, the Sage of Six Paths believed Kakashi's greatest strength is as a teacher, leader, and friend, all of which proved vital in Kaguya Otsutsuki's defeat. Years after Kaguya's defeat, Kakashi's combat power has significantly increased. In general, Kakashi is a very versatile man with advanced proficiency in countless areas, including mastery of all 3 main ninja skills. Naruto Uzumaki says Kakashi is smarter than Shikamaru Nara, has a better sense of smell than Kiba Inuzuka, is more adept with the Sharingan than Sasuke Uchiha, and has better taijutsu skill than Rock Lee. Kakashi's genjutsu prowess is able to use basic techniques to major effect for intimidation and distraction. Originally, by his own admission, Kakashi's chakra reserves were average. He could only use the lightning cutter 4 times a day, or Kamui 3 times per day. However, by part 2, Kakashi's reserves increased to a considerable size, shown when he used both techniques repeatedly during the final battle of the 4th Great Shinobi War, with only minor strain and exhaustion. In later years, his reserve allowed him to create and maintain 4 collective massive walls for a few days and casually utilize his purple electricity numerous times. Kakashi's proficiency in taijutsu allows him to take various approaches in close combat. His time in the Anbu enables him to suddenly approach enemies from behind, unnoticed even by other Anbu. Also, his ongoing competitions with Might Guy make him just as comfortable attacking from the front, striking with debilitating precision to quickly defeat multiple enemies. Kakashi is able to open at least one of the 8 gates. He's strong enough to wield Kubi Kiribocho with one hand for extended periods of time, unfazed, has reflexes sharp enough to block attacks he's unable to see, and has immense speed that allows him to perform hand seals at unreadable rates. Ninjutsu. Over the years, due in large part to his Sharingan, he gained a vast arsenal, reputed to have copied over 1,000 jutsu and which led to his moniker as Copy Ninja Kakashi. With this arsenal combined with years of experience, Kakashi can handle almost any situation in various ways. He's also well versed in Fuinjutsu, impressing Orochimaru. Kakashi has his own personal pick of Ninken, which he raised since they were puppies. In the anime, he's shown using them during the 3rd Shinobi World War. In the field, he can summon one or more of his Ninken to fetch things for him, restrain targets, or deliver messages. More commonly, he uses them for tracking, picking up trails, or seeking out targets he doesn't know where to look for. Nature Transformation. Kakashi can use all 5 basic nature transformations, as well as the Yin Release and Yang Release. He can use Water Release without a nearby water source and is able to produce massive torrents, water dragons, or defensive walls. With Earth Release, he can move underground for sneak attacks or produce multiple intricate walls to defend himself or large areas from attack. Years after the 4th Shinobi World War, Kakashi has learned how to convert his Earth Release techniques into quartz, improving their defense by negating its weakness to lightning-based nature attacks, and he's shown using Fire Release to launch a massive fireball. Kakashi's natural affinity is for Lightning Release, which he will at times channel into weaponry to increase its cutting power. After failing to infuse the Rasengan with his lightning nature, he instead created the Chidori, a collection of lightning chakra in the hand that can pierce most targets that it's thrust into. He once famously split a bolt of lightning with his Chidori, earning the name Lightning Cutter. Other techniques of this nature include Lightning Hounds, that he can manipulate to attack his enemy, Lightning Clones that paralyzes an opponent on contact, and Lightning Cords that are even capable of cutting through tailed beast chakra arms. By his tenure as the 6th Hokage, he created a new signature technique, The lightning release purple electricity, which allows him to release a surge of purple lightning to produce a variety of effects, attack from afar, augment his physical strikes, and release a burst from all around him. Sharingan. Kakashi received his Sharingan during the Third Shinobi World War from Obito Uchiha, a replacement for the left eye he'd lost shortly beforehand. The Sharingan has become his most identifying feature in the years since, such that he is widely known as Kakashi of the Sharingan. With the Sharingan, Kakashi can accurately reproduce any movement he sees, take in a heightened amount of visual information, and perform the Sharingan's broad category of Genjutsu. Because he isn't in Uchiha, he can't deactivate the Sharingan, and it rapidly drains his chakra whenever he uses it, leaving him bedridden after extended use. As such, he keeps the eye covered for when he doesn't need it in order to prevent this. Despite his handicap, he's still noted to have impressive prowess wielding it, as noted by Itachi Uchiha. Kakashi loses his Sharingan during the Fourth Shinobi World War to Madara Uchiha. When Obito died with both his Sharingan, his spirit briefly returned from the afterlife and inhabited Kakashi's body, during which Obito channeled both his eyes' dojutsu power into Kakashi, granting full usage of their abilities. Mangekyo Sharingan. Kakashi gained a Mangekyo Sharingan when Rin Nohara died, a trauma that simultaneously caused the Mangekyo to awaken in Obito. Its design gives the appearance of 3 triangles wrapping themselves around the pupil, similar to a pinwheel. He was able to maintain it for over a decade, though he was steadily suffering its side effects with each usage, such as bleeding eyes and deteriorating vision. With his left Mangekyo, Kakashi can use the long-range variant of Kamui. By remotely forming a barrier around whatever he looks at, he can warp the target to Kamui's dimension. Eventually, he learns how to use it on himself to travel to and from this dimension. Kakashi initially had trouble aiming Kamui properly, and hitting his targets. His aim improves to a point that he can use Kamui on fast-moving projectiles. When he first starts using Kamui, it requires some amount of preparation and has a huge drain on his chakra every time he performs it. He also eventually becomes able to perform it faster, enough that opponents may not even notice he used it at all. After Kakashi loses his Sharingan, his body is temporarily inhibited by Obito's spirit, allowing him to use both of Obito's Mangekyo. In addition to the long-range Kamui he'd originally had, he becomes able to use its short-range variant, allowing him to make his body intangible so that attacks phase through him. By combining this ability with his lightning cutter, Kakashi can bypass all defenses and eliminate the possibility of being countered while attacking. Having a dual Mangekyo, Kakashi can manifest Susanoo, which has been honed into its complete body form. It can be used for flight, defend others with its large size, and even have the intangibility of Kamui extended to it. It can manifest either swords or shuriken to aid him in battle, the latter of which can produce Kamui shuriken in order to warp away whatever they cut. In addition, Kakashi receives some of the Six Paths chakra, allowing him to use the Mangekyo Sharingan and its abilities for repeated and extended use with no effect on his health or eyesight. And that's what you call an OP character. Holy crap, Kakashi's crazy. Intelligence. Part of Kakashi's usual approach to combat is to rely on the body replacement technique and clone techniques, thereby keeping himself out of harm's way while he observes an opponent and their abilities. Even when he doesn't use this system of misdirection and decoys, he remains alert to any unexplained or unexpected occurrences, coming up with theories for their causes when they arise and exploiting them if they prove true, which they usually do. Once he identifies an opponent's weakness, Kakashi can quickly formulate a plan to take advantage of it, efficiently utilizing each of his allies' unique skills to that purpose. Such plans, while often elaborate and unorthodox, are typically highly successful and very low risk, making Kakashi invaluable as a leader. He has also proven himself a very talented leader, able to push his students' development by months if not years in just weeks through various innovative methods. Personality. Since his childhood, Kakashi was very independent and self-confident, at times even appearing arrogant and condescending. Despite that, Kakashi was very perceptive and intuitive, quickly realizing the situation for what it was. After his father's death, Kakashi became more stern, aloof, and cold towards others, following all the rules to the letter, chastising any who disobeyed them, and being willing to abandon his comrades to finish missions. As an adult, Kakashi typically has a relaxed and almost bored attitude, not prone to getting too worked up about anything or by anyone. Despite his increasingly growing reputation and prowess as a ninja, Kakashi has shown no signs of arrogance, and is rather modest about his abilities. He's habitually tardy, showing up when it suits him, using excuses that convince nobody, and later leaving for equally poor reasons. Though Kakashi wants others to believe this is how he always acts, he only does so for matters that aren't of particular importance. In truth, Kakashi is rather a solitary and matter-of-fact person. Kakashi is still just as apathetic as he was during his youth, often speaking bluntly about sensitive topics and occasionally ignores his fellow classmates whenever he passed by them. He's alone for most of his spare time, spending hours visiting Rin Nohara's grave or the memorial stone where Obito Uchiha's name is engraved. He tells them about his life, recent events at Konoha, and others they knew, but mostly shares his regrets that they can't be with him or that their deaths were his fault. In the anime, after Rin died, Kakashi went through a period of post-traumatic stress disorder, having nightmares about her death and growing depressed whenever others mentioned her. Over time, Kakashi comes to accept that Rin chose to die, so his guilt instead became more about his broken promise to Obito to keep Rin safe. This fact causes Obito's apparent death to weigh more heavily on him, compounding the regret he feels about what his personality was even hours before Obito seemingly died. Kakashi feels that had he cared about teamwork and friendship in the same way that Obito did, Obito's death might have been avoided. Thinking it would ease his pain, Minato convinced Kakashi to join the Anbu. During this time in the Anbu, however, Kakashi gained a reputation for his cold-bloodedness. Obito's apparent death profoundly changed Kakashi. More particularly, he became committed to teamwork and always placed his teammates' well-being above the missions. He believes goals can be accomplished more effectively together, asking for help when he needs it, providing help when it's requested of him, and praising allies when they deserve it. An abuse of one's teammates is the only thing that can make Kakashi cast aside his normally stoic demeanor, causing him to attack without mercy or his usual sense of sportsmanship. He expects his prospective students to demonstrate the same devotion to teamwork, which none until Team 7 were able to do. Despite the high failure rate, the third Hokage agrees with Kakashi's choice to require it. Kakashi becomes fond of all Team 7's members, even Sasuke Uchiha, to the point of blaming himself for Sasuke's criminal acts and his team's growing rift over it throughout Part 2. He holds out hope that Sasuke will correct his behavior, and for his patience, he's able to see Team 7 reunified when Part 2 ends. Might Guy has considered Kakashi his rival ever since they met in the academy. Despite his father's warnings that Guy might someday prove stronger than him, Kakashi didn't think much of Guy at the time. Guy took this as a challenge and began striving to earn Kakashi's approval, so as to show that his perseverance could be just as good as Kakashi's natural genius. When Guy would suggest contests to test how their abilities compared, Kakashi would respond with indifference, only fueling Guy's desire to defeat his cool, hip, and trendy personality. At the start of Part 1, Kakashi's score is 50 wins and 49 losses. Though even when Guy takes the lead, the score difference remains the same. Considering that their competitions range from eating contests to rock, paper, scissors, the score isn't truly representative of anything. Kakashi eventually comes to consider Guy one of his closest and most reliable friends, and by the end of the Fourth Shinobi World War, he acknowledges that Guy has surpassed him. In the following years during his role as Hokage, Kakashi continued to dutifully work to progress the village. At the same time, he still believes that even in times of peace, no one should become a ninja without appreciating the importance of it. When he first meets his students on Team 7, Kakashi claims to have many hobbies, none of which he chooses to share at the time. He's known to be an avid fan of the Icha Icha series of novels. He always has one of the books with him and regularly reads it, even while talking to others. Naruto Uzumaki identifies Icha Icha as one of Kakashi's few weaknesses, which he's able to take advantage of during a bell test by threatening to spoil the ending of the newest book in the series, forcing Kakashi to shut his eyes and ears, thereby leaving himself vulnerable. Although most people he knows are aware of how much he likes Icha Icha, Kakashi is seemingly uncomfortable sharing the books with others, to the point of growing embarrassed by the presumably adult content when he's forced to read passages aloud. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Imagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.